Apa kabar jawatan Presiden? Hormat kehormatan, perhatian dan masing-masing untuk apa Jokowi. No disrespect is directed at you, Mr. President. Nama saya Robert Paul. Dari rumah dari McJannett's dilahirkan antarabangsa di Brisbane atas bulan Jun 4 tahun 1961. I am Robert Paul from the house of McJannett's, born on Brisbane on 4th of June 1961. This statement is to the President of Indonesia, Joko Widodo, Jokowi. I have been a whistleblower in Australia since the year 2000 on serious corruption involving historical cases of child sexual abuse. I am also a former infantry soldier in the Australian Army. In December 2009, between Christmas and New Year, I was arrested at Denpasar Airport in very unusual circumstances and accused of carrying 1.7 grams of cannabis in my luggage. A tumultuous 5 months followed that almost resulted in my death on more than one occasion. I spent most of that 5 months inside Kerobokan prison with the Bali Nine and Chappelle Corby. I am the only Western prisoner to ever be transferred from the police holding cells in Denpasar to Kerobokan prison in under 30 days. I was transferred from Polder Police Complex to Kerobokan in just 8 days, as my health had deteriorated to a serious condition. This decision was made due to the fact there is a medical centre inside Kerobokan prison, as the Denpasar police did not want a dead Australian in their holding cells. Your people showed some compassion, and I hope you will join in that flavour. Before this happened to me in Bali, I had spent most of my life helping others in need. When I arrived at the prison, I was quite ill, and for the first time in my life, I was in desperate need, and Andrew Chan was there for me. In the tumultuous weeks that followed, as I struggled to adjust to the prison, whilst at the same time fight off blood poisoning I developed at Polder, Andrew Chan was there for me. When I needed guidance to find a lawyer that was at least half straight, Andrew Chan was there for me. When I needed spiritual guidance, Andrew Chan was there for me. When I needed urgent medical supplies or other provisions brought in from the outside, Andrew Chan was there for me. Australians don't get food or anything else apart from one prison shirt in Kerobokan. We have to buy everything in from the outside. A lot of people don't know that. Andrew Chan undoubtedly saved my life, and I have been saying that since I was released from the prison on 30th of May 2010. It is impossible for me to comprehend how this kind man could be put to death. After I returned home from Kerobokan prison, I was overwhelmed by anger at the collusion I witnessed between corrupt officials in Bali and officials representing the Australian government. I filed complaints with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and the Attorney General and threatened to contact your Anti-Corruption Commission in Jakarta. Had I have carried out the threat, things would almost certainly have been quite embarrassing for both governments and some persons in Denpasar holding very high offices, both in your government and the Denpasar Municipal Authority. The reaction I got at that time from DFAT was quite worrying, and as it happens, I chose not to release the extensive embarrassing documents I am holding and try to maintain the status quo for the benefit of all concerned. I also learned from this experience that making threats about anything to anyone is not a good behavior and best to be avoided where possible. So I would ask that this address to you not be construed as a threat, but moreover just an indication that at some point in the future I could be compelled to carry out my civic duty under Section 13 and 15F of the Crimes Act 1914, Commonwealth, an Imperial Act, and act upon my knowledge of serious crime in high office. But having said that, on the contrary, a decision beyond my control in the near future could compel me to destroy certain highly embarrassing documents. The latter part is a promise from me to you, and I am a man of my word, especially when it is a matter of life or death. Jokowi, your people are persistently demanding respect to your religious customs and your sovereignty. Please understand that Andrew Chan has never been a threat to Indonesian sovereignty, nor was he trafficking drugs to your people. In fact, he was himself a customer and victim of drug dealers operating in Bali. The documents in question include 1. Proof of a collusion between senior judges and prosecutors of the Denpasar District Court and officials at the Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, the Australian Attorney General's Office. Evidence showing a collusion between the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and a very public figure in Denpasar, close to the mayor, and purported to be the head of the Balinese Hindu Association and a don in Laskar Bali, or the Bali Mafia, as Australians like to call it. Proof of numerous large cash transfers to the gangster just referred to as the head of the Balinese Hindu Association, made through the ANZ Bank directly into the man's account. 4, and last but not least, proof of an unlawful collusion between Bali Police and the Australian Federal Police and the Australian newspaper. Mr. President, in 2010, I made a conscious decision not to release this information to the public and put my faith and hopes in Indonesia continuing to show humanitarianism by letting Andrew Chan live. Please do not kill Andrew Chan. Please do not kill Andrew Chan. Please. Tidak, tidak, tidak. Mati untuk Andrew Chan. May Allah guide you to merciful decisions during your leadership. Terima kasih, Jokowi.